in town in Justin Herbert. He will be suiting up this weekend for the LA Chargers. Get this, even though he's about to enter his 6th season in the NFL, the guy's never played a preseason game. Now, he's had a couple different coaches, but this is a Jim Harbaugh era now in his 2nd year working together, and everyone's wondering if it was the coach that made this decision.
It was actually me going to him and saying, hey, would it be okay if, I went in and played? Because I think in years past, the plan was, to rest and see those reps. But I wanted to go out there and see a pass rush because, in practice as a quarterback, you don't always get the true feeling of a pass rush. So I thought it'd be helpful to go out there, and he was understanding, and we kind of worked together on talking to plan.
Are joint practices closer to it than maybe when you're practicing against your own guys?
I would say they're the same. I think it's more so to see a different defense, and I think that's one of the good things that we have done is we've got a scout team that is giving us different looks, and I think that's kind of the thing that we've done the past couple of weeks of training for, whether we're playing the Rams or whether we're playing the Saints. But at the end of the day, nothing is the same as a live pass rush and being out there and actually getting tackled. So I think that's one of the things that's helpful about this week for sure.
I think we were addressing Rams fans already this morning. Chargers fans want this thing to be desperately different than how it's been in years past, especially with Herbert at quarterback. This is different, Manti. The fact that he has not played, and now here he goes, rolling out there in August.
Well, something that's definitely different is their left tackle. So I know he's talking about wanting to see a pass rush. I want to see that pass rush on the left side of the offensive line now that Joe Alt is there. Now, for Chargers fans, we're not on the panic scale yet, because Joe Alt did play left tackle at the University of Notre Dame. He was an All-American there, so I'm not panicking on that. There's a few things besides Justin Herbert that I want to see. I want to see Omarion Hampton. I want to see him. He played in the Hall of Fame game. For some reason, he didn't play last week.
Okay.
And for a running back that's drafted that high, and with the status of Najee Harris being questionable, we don't know when he's going to come back. I want to see more of this rookie. I want to see him start to get in a groove. I want to see him, especially with Justin Herbert playing, I want to see this new Greg Roman offense start to take form. I will say about that Chargers defense, guys, they had 8 turnovers in 2 weeks. One of them is a pick 6. Don't throw to the right side, the flat of that defense, because every time a quarterback throws that way, it's picked off and taken to the house. So I will say, guys, that I'm really looking forward to 3 things. Joe Alt at left tackle, Omarion Hampton, let's get him going. Let's play him a half. You only have one more preseason. And that's going to be really a game that a lot of teams use to analyze their talent that's on the bubble. Omarion Hampton isn't on the bubble. And then I want to see that defense continue to dominate, KB. It's been nice to see as a former Charger myself.
It has. And I'm interested in Herbert. I think this is, anytime someone's been in the league this long and has never played in the preseason, it's like, the quarterbacks playing in the preseason is kind of hot right now. I feel like it's having a comeback. It was a huge taboo for years. Why do it, especially with an established guy by Herbert? Now we're getting out there. We heard a younger guy like Caleb's going to play this weekend. We haven't seen Jalen Hurts yet, but we're seeing so many guys, especially the guys you think would be the last to play in the preseason, like Tua. Tua's out there making throws and doing handoffs. Justin Herbert is a notorious fast starter. He legendarily, you remember his first career action ever was he came in because Tyrod Taylor had this weird thing that happened before the game. They throw Herbert in against the Chiefs ever, and he's amazing. Yeah. I was just pulling it up. If you look at Herbert's first 3 games throughout his career, he's excellent. He's not one of these guys who's shaky, throws a bunch of picks. He's not a guy who screams that, you got to get him in on the preseason. No, not at all. He's great. He's great right away. So this is just a case of, it's becoming more popular. There's also fewer preseason games. And I think this is a Harbaugh factor. We know Jim Harbaugh, we say this is a compliment. He's a weird guy. He does things unusually. So he doesn't care that Herbert's never played. He wants to play. I think Herbert's going to play 1 series. I think he's going to throw 3 or 4 passes, and then he'll look over to the sideline, come back to the studio, and he'll look over on the sideline, and he'll see that. Look up on the risers right now, guys. He's just going to be 2 thumbs up, get off the field. That's going to be plenty, or just stay on the Herbert VO. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's hard to direct from your chair and give your take.
Oh, you can only scream it so loud. There it is.
Hey! Yeah. Give him the 2 thumbs up.
Living, breathing show. Stay with me. Stay with me. Come on, I'm going to coach hard today. I'm going to coach hard. Someone was like, what did he say? Man. Love you guys in the booth.
Yes. We have to look at the AFC West, though, and what this means as a whole, because while, to Kyle's point, people love Justin Herbert, and they love Harbaugh, but, is this the year where we're going to love them together and things actually are different the way that, him playing in the postseason is different? Is it going to be different?
We going to see, Jamie. It's got August 15th, right? We know the date. We also know that the season hasn't even – so we're talking postseason. We don't know yet. We knew thanks to KB, we do know that he's going to start the season off fast.
Yep.
Now let's continue that. Let's start racking up, get some momentum. I have all faith and trust in Jim Harbaugh.
So the gravitational pull just takes you to Kansas City. You talk about the AFC West, and everything you see and everything you learn, and it's damn near a decade that they always win the West. And it's like we used to do with the Patriots. Every single year in the preseason on August 15th before Patriots-Brady seasons, who has the chutzpah to say, no, it's going to be the Jets this year? It was hard to do. And then people become internet lore from saying the Patriots are done and hot takes and all that stuff. So this year, let's do another round of it, 2025. Do we think this is the year that one of these teams rises up and gets the Chiefs? I think what makes it appealing, and I come back to this all the time, it's not about Herbert. It's not about Geno Smith. It's not about Bo Nix. It is about the coaches they've assembled there. All right, this is not. It's not like in the AFC East with Brady when you would run through all this rigmarole with different coaches coming in and out. Half of them you didn't really know that well. Half of them we haven't heard from since.
Yeah.
We got dons, and I mean that in the gangster sense. Like we have all dons who have come to the West to have a party to try to disrupt the Andy Reid Invitational. So I'm not going to say right now that, you know what, the Raiders are winning the West. I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
I'm going to say this is the most interesting, challenging year, I think, for the Chiefs in that entire run.
Yeah.
Because they're getting a little older. Kelsey's not going to be Kelsey, just ask him. And the coaches that they have assembled to take them out.
Yep.
It is like the perfect team of assassins, and their one target is then those guys in red. You can't get coaches more better fit to do this. If the Chiefs win it this year, it's just like they're immortal.
Yeah. Good segment. Mad
Falcons.
Minute. I'm just going to hold them. Mad Minute, 60 seconds, talk about some of the most intriguing games this weekend. Let's talk about Chiefs-Seahawks, all right? It's tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Kyle, 30 whole seconds on the clock for you. You have to both occupy the Mad Minute for this game.
This is a fun opportunity for me to just submarine man time, just say 5 seconds, then lay it out. Not on this one, though. Sam Darnold's going to play in this game.
Yes.
So it's what I was talking about in the opening block. The quarterbacks playing in the preseason are back, and now he's in a new place. He should be playing. He's one of the most interesting players in the entire NFL for me. Is he really good, or is he the guy who got passed around 4 different times and was a backup on the 49ers? Huge deal, 10-win team last year. I want to see him come out and make a debut. I think if Sam Darnold throws it around, goes 4 for 5, and throws a touchdown, we're like, whoa, could the Seahawks win the West? I think it's a big deal.
4 for 5. Oh, KB, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp's not playing. Jackson Smith and Jigba's not playing. Kenneth Walker's not playing.
So they're going to have Darnold without his whole crew?
The whole crew. So that's why I'm
sense.
saying it's just like we're sticking guys out there, but we don't have the support cast. So, like, without the support cast, can I really get a clear picture of what these guys are going to look like come September, right?
I would bet
running the ball and all that.
If Sammy's out there, they got to put those guys.
They got to go.
You can't.
Especially the run game with Kenneth Walker and all those guys. Like you have to have somebody in there that
he's gonna be throwing to some wide receiver wearing number 47. He's never met before. You got to give him his guys. I want to see if Darnold plays well. I'm interested in the Seahawks.
It's well done. The Chiefs are playing as well. All right, Titans-Falcons. It's the first game tonight on NFL Network, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's a number 1 overall pick that we're looking at that we want to see take a series or two, Manti. What did you make Cam Ward?
You're going to take a series or two. I really liked how he played in the first game. I talked about that bounce that he had, that OG throwback feel when I watched him play. I thought he was poised. I thought his connection with Calvin Ridley was really strong out the gate. Now I want to see that with Tyler Lockett. Like we got to get Tyler Lockett incorporated in this offense. Tony Pollard, one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. I like him going into this year. But that defense, we have a friend, Oladejo, that came on the show.
Yeah,
like,
Femi.
Let's get him. He showed a lot of maturity, a lot of leadership. Like, let's get him rolling because I want to see him do well.
Yeah, he was here on a Friday. And on Monday, he signed his deal and then, off and rolling. And he looks great. What a charismatic young man.
Yeah, I like him. No Penix in this game. No Michael Penix. He now has a different alias if you've been watching the internet over the last 24 hours. No Penix. No Cousins either. So we're getting the Easton Stick Invitational.
Perfect.
The super deep dive tinfoil hat theory on Easton Stick. If Easton Stick comes out and looks really good and really sharp and throws the ball all over, does Cousins become trade bait?
Was he not already?
Well, even more so.
Okay.
Because if Easton Stick looks like, you can back up Penix. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But we're in the back half of a preseason game in Mad Minute. I'm just making stuff up. But it's interesting to think about. What's next game?
It's Dolphins-Lions. Now, this one is intriguing, mostly because, we want to see what the Lions look like. They're great in the NFC. But the Dolphins and the reports out of training camp, the vibes are off, if you will, in the con scale. And it's not great. So what are we going to see in the preseason for them?
Well, I'm really interested to see how the Dolphins show up in this one.
Okay, I love that you just did that, KB. I really do.
Go,
You know
man.
what? Last week, Will Blackman, we have an awkward moment on TV where he just went silent. Remember that, KB?
Yeah.
He went silent for like 20 seconds, and we're like, this is so awkward.
Yeah.
But I think that Will Blackman was actually trying to prove a point. It was a moment of silence for the Dolphins. Like, it's been rough. Okay, 2 weeks ago, they're over there fighting each other, right? And then this past week, Tua goes and he starts talking about how it's been frustrating, how it hasn't been looking well. I think Will Blackman, in a way, was trying to tell us, like, it's not looking good. Like, it's looking real bad.
Yeah, but he could have used words to do that.
Yeah. Well, we thought it was weird at that time.
Brevity is wit.
We thought it was weird. But he actually, I think he said so much and saying so little, KB.
Sure.
Let me tag back in. I can't remember a preseason I've been rooting harder for the Dolphins now. I'm fully behind the Dolphins because I hate teams that get condemned in preseason. I hate the overreaction teams. It would make me so happy if the Dolphins came out and just lit it up and were 3-0. But wait, they were terrible in the joint practices, McDaniels. It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
It's all folly. I'm just on record right now on August 15th. I'm really rooting for the Dolphins this year because I want them to prove everybody wrong.
A really fun exercise on television is to try to get Kyle to only talk for 5 seconds because I'm going to tag back in. You can't. You physically cannot withhold yourself.
I know.
We got the rules.
We're supposed to have a Royal Rumble. There's supposed to be more voices. Manti and I are like playing hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like never mind the rules for this.
I don't think you've ever been annoyed the fact that you have more bandwidth to be able to speak, though.
On some days, like Fridays, I want less bandwidth. Trust me. I just want to pass the ball and go.
Less bandwidth, less makeup, less everything. Let's go.
All right, speaking of passing the ball, who's doing it for the Browns on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern? It's Browns-Eagles on NFL Network. Manti, it's only Flacco and Snoop Huntley available at quarterback for the Browns?
No, hold on. Are we up to date? Is Dylan Gabriel going to play? It's so fluid.
Just said it's only
I know,
the two
but
of them.
I don't even know if that's right. With due respect to Mike, could that change by the time of kickoff?
I see.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
That's why you have to what? Watch the game.
Watch the game. Watch the game. And don't miss anything, okay? What I won't miss is Dylan Sampson playing running back. This has been all of this talk about the quarterback. Dylan Sampson, that running back, SEC Offensive Player of the Year out of Tennessee, 2024. Averaged 123 yards rushing yards a game.
That's a lot.
Like that's a lot of yards. But where's Mason Graham, guys? Like where's Mason Graham? I watched his clips. He's strong. He was taking a lot of double teams as a rookie, but he held his ground. So I'm gonna be watching those two rookies this game. I know we don't know what we were gonna watch at quarterback, but I'm watching those rookies.
If you watch preseason game because you want the big headlines, like what is the starting quarterback going to look like? But then also some of us football nerds tune in for like the weird stuff. Can we talk for just 8 seconds about Tanner McKee, the quarterback?
Yes, we can.
This guy threw for 252 yards last week, the most of any player in the preseason. He also did the tush push. I'm kind of in. I'm on the Tanner McKee train. This is fun to watch.
So,
this is why we watch August football.
So far, you have been on the Easton Stick campaign for the Falcons, and now Tanner McKee.
And also, I'm Team Dolphins now.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay.
All
so
the
we
allegiances.
Have it clear and established.
It's Mad Minute.
Exactly.
Eat innings, you know, as they say right now in this segment.
Bills-Bears is happening this weekend, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. It's week 2 for the preseason for both of these guys. Kyle, I guess start out with Caleb Williams' expectation. You're going to see him, yeah?
Yeah, whatever it is, Caleb's terrible. He sucks. He's bad. He's a bust. If he throws 5 touchdowns and 5 passes, he's lucky, and he's just a passenger on Ben Johnson's genius. Now, if he throws an incomplete pass, cut him. Just if you go by the internet reaction to Caleb Williams, the only thing that ever leads is if it bleeds. Never mind that for the last week of practice, he's looked brilliant. He ran an incredible 2-minute drill to end practice yesterday in which he spiked the ball with 1 second left. He's hitting the rookie. He's hitting the veterans. Caleb looks great in the last week, and nobody wants to hear it. So go out and do your thing, Caleb. No one will care unless it's terrible, and then they'll lead with it.
I think the Bears it's like a piano recital. You know what I mean? Like you go into this recital as a parent and you see your kid up there, and you're like, let me see is this what I've been paying for? Like there's a lot of reports like, oh, she's playing so well, she's playing so bad. Like I'm gonna go to this recital and be like, are you really playing well? Like let me hear it for myself. Like this is that game now that Caleb's playing and Josh Allen is playing. It's that recital. Like we've been hearing about the 100, 200 plays before a preseason game one. Like we've been hearing about them going live in 7-on-7. Like what is this recital going to be like?
That's great.
It is.
Hopefully it's not a train wreck like that.
Everyone, if you will, Mom will clean up later. It's called No Cap. We got 32.
Look at that!
Oh, the guys hated that.
It's going to be
hated
It
mad no
it looked
cap.
too perfect for Kyle.
Pooh's going to punch me in the commercial.
It's a mad no cap, guys.
Oh, my God.
Actually, the exercise should be, Kyle, we should grab one and have to try to make a stance for it instead of finding it.
Did you guys, it's as if they saw someone get hit by a car. It's just hats, guys. We're going to get through. They were so mad. Wow.
No.
I like this.
All right. Back to our perfectly
I'll start moving the
executed
table now
television
if it
show.
gets that
I know, he's
reaction.
going to get on the table.
Yeah.
I'm so distraught, I can't even speak. It's no cap. We have, if it doesn't look like it, 32 hats on this table in front of me, every single team represented. There's three questions. And, Manti, did you know Kyle has a really big head?
Yeah.
Because when he grabs these caps, he has to unsnap the back.
Okay.
Jamie's not talking symbolically either, I hope. She's talking actually physically. Like, I have a large cranium.
Yeah. It's just that this is the first time you two are in studio together. I feel like that was overlooked
Dynamic.
yesterday with Seth Rollins and stuff.
for
Like,
sure.
man, there's some things about Kyle that we want to make sure we review.
Oh, we figuring it out. I like this right here, though.
Yeah,
I like
okay.
this.
It'll be fun. Let's go.
No
I do
cap.
have a large head.
Last week, Shedeur Sanders stole the show in week 1 of the preseason. So please grab the cap of the team who has the quarterback that we are going to be talking about on Monday morning, like we did Shedeur. Manti?
That says me.
Find
Look at
your-
that. Boom.
Sometimes it becomes a quick grab competition.
Boom. Fast.
That's true.
All right, guys, come on. Let's
I was going for that one.
Let's not get it twisted here, guys. We just talked about him. We're going to talk about him again, right? Because, I mean, it doesn't matter who's playing. I mean, we talk about the guys that's not playing more than the guys who's playing. So if it is Tyler Huntley, ball out, bro. If it isn't Tyler Huntley and it's Dylan Gabriel, ball out. But regardless, there's going to be a narrative on Monday when we come back as to what it means for Shedeur. Does Shedeur play this week? If he doesn't play this week, what does that look like in the whole equation called the Cleveland Browns quarterback room? So I think that the quarterback or the quarterbacks we'll be talking about is going to come out of this team.
You go, Erdo. What do you got?
It wasn't just enough for J.J. McCarthy last week. It wasn't enough of whatever people wanted to see from him. A lot of people, I think myself included, I said it on the show, he is the most intriguing player in the NFC North, the one that will have actually the biggest predictor of outcome for a team. And this is a quarterback that has never played a snap in the regular season. The one series last week was fascinating because while he had a couple of errant throws that lofted, I thought the timing was on. So you can almost pick and choose depending on your initial judgment of J.J. McCarthy. You got to wrap your opinion of his one series for the Vikings in a little cake mold, if you will, of no, I think it went great or I think it went terribly. We need to see more. And frankly, I don't know if it's going to go great or terribly, but we will be talking about it a lot on Monday because I think it will be a good definition of it.
I'm going back to Bronte's hat. This is too interesting. What's going on here? It's. Hold on. There's still a cardboard thing in here. I got to need all the help I can get. You got to get all the cargo off the plane. Imagine how interesting it would be this weekend. Just how interesting, how reactive. What if Dylan Gabriel plays and he's excellent? What if he goes and throws his own 2 touchdowns? What if he looks the part? There's nothing I would like more because it's just going to put the media in some sort of pretzel about what do we do. We thought Shedeur looked great, but this guy looked really good too, and they spent much more valuable draft capital on Gabriel than they did on Sanders, but he doesn't have the internet legion supporting him, and in so many ways, he's this guy who's completely forgotten about. I can't imagine how difficult this training camp must be for Dylan Gabriel. Not only is he up against so many forces that many rookies are not up against in terms of attention and media and prestige, then he gets injured and he's fighting for this role and everyone's talking about him. He's just trying to find his way in the NFL. There's nothing I would like more than for Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon to come and show up and just ball and just be like, dude, announce yourself this weekend. It's not all about that guy who's behind you or the 40-year-old in front of you. What a weird world Dylan Gabriel must live in between the ears. If you can just go out and play good football, I would have so much respect for it. Go get him, man.
Kyle, you oftentimes adopt pound puppy teams. Is Dylan Gabriel a pound puppy quarterback?
He might be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for him to slay the dragons that have been put around him and at some point be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns just because he earned it, that would be a really cool story. Really cool. I mean, Shedeur would be cool too.
Yeah.
But don't give Dylan Gabriel a little credit if he comes out and plays well, all right?
There's a lot of stories coming out of that
totally. That unfold right here on GMFB over the last 100 hours or so. We were really concerned about Kyle when he showed up to the show on Wednesday with arm in sling to fly cross country, have that arm. He looked terrible. Surprised us all, including our friend of the show, WWE superstar Seth Rollins. Kyle wasn't hurt. He took to the spike-o-meter and he took a championship home with him. Check it out.
So yoked. I already ripped my pants, son. Yeah. What a number! Nah. No.
No.
What's he doing up there?
Give me that ball. Are you ready? Give me the green light to light these guys up.
No.
Give me the score. Give me the score. Give me this champ. My house. I win. You lose. This ball is mine.
You know what the really great reaction would have been? If in that celebration I injured my shoulder. I almost wish I could have committed and done that. Like, it would have been the Black Swan. I would have danced the perfect ballet, but thankfully his shoulder's fine. Imagine if I blew out my shoulder celebrating that I didn't have an injured shoulder.
The irony of it all.
I kind of wish I would have. I really do.
I can't believe you didn't think of that in advance.
Well, you guys wouldn't believe me if I did. I should have done that. Should have intentionally injured myself.
The boy who cried wolf.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
For real.
I would have an X-ray machine next to the spicometer.
I regret not injuring myself.
There's less screaming here today, but that doesn't mean that people aren't going to be screaming about certain teams in 2025. You have to find the cap, no longer grabbing, find the cap of the team that you think will shock the world the way you did yesterday with your Ruse of the Century 2.0.
Oh, like this season will shock the world?
Yeah,
I haven't seen these
2025.
questions.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Well, so the question
Love it.
is, find the cap of the team that you think will shock the world the way you did
Is it me
yesterday with
first?
the spicometer. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'll go first. Okay. Guys, I'm big on
Does
this
he
team.
keep taking your hats?
Is this the one you wanted?
No. I said damn because this is a hard question.
Yeah,
So go do Patriots. I like this.
I like the Patriots. Okay, after the Week 1 preseason game, to see Travion Henderson, their rookie, crib the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Guys, we didn't see a lot of Will Campbell highlights, but the guy was pancaking people, like everywhere. Down the field, 10 yards down the field, on a toss. He was doing so many great things. I think that the Spillane and Ellis, those two inside linebackers for them, they embody what Coach is trying to do over there. Coach Vrabel is trying to do over there for the Patriots. So I really like this team. Watch out for them. They're in a really tough division, but I think they'll shock the world
I'm into
this
that.
year in 2025.
What do you got?
What you got?
I was sad that I know Will Campbell. That's my guy right there. I have a Seahawks
Did you want to go
hat.
this one?
No, I have a Seahawks hat.
Oh, Seattle Seahawks. All right.
Seattle Seahawks. Kyle, you've kind of led everybody to the water on this one, but it's the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like, are the NFC's version of us not talking about Cam Ward or something. Like, they have a second-year head coach who is a prolific defensive coordinator with Baltimore. Like, why we're not paying more attention to Mike McDonald is beyond me. They finished 10-7 last season. They were right there. And they have Sam Darnold now. And anyone who wants to continue to deny what Sam Darnold could become as a former high first-round pick with the New York Jets, I don't care the fact that Sam Darnold has played for 16 different organizations. In fact, I enjoy that about him. He has amassed an immense amount of experience, knowledge. It's like he's got scar tissue emotionally and physically. He's a good quarterback, and he showed us that last year with Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. So this would be a shock to the world because I'm just not convinced that the 49ers would be that second team in the NFC West. And if things don't go well for Stafford, look out for the Seahawks.
Yeah, and I think the Seahawks are a media study too. Like there's something about them that doesn't have the sexiness factor. Let's call it what it is. You're not going to turn on ESPN and see Seahawks talk. You're not going to turn on our show and see very much Seahawks talk. And if this is not the LOB and Russell Wilson and Pete back in the day, their most interesting player from a media perspective is now a receiver for the Steelers, DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
They have Sam Darnold, who is not sexy. They have Mike McDonald, who's not sexy. It's just there's not a lot of talk about them, and yet this is a football show. They won 10 games a year ago with a new head coach, and they have some really good players. They're going to be a factor, whether it resonates in media or not. Who really cares? To that point.
Oh. Yep. Do it. Get the cardboard out.
This hat you can't miss. This is teal. Now, I've been crushing on the Panthers. Like I've been eyeing them from across study hall. I'm passing them a note. They made eye contact with me. I kind of flushed. Like I like what the Panthers have going on. The question is, at the bottom of the screen, define shock the world. The Panthers going to win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to win the South. I don't know. I think the Panthers are going to win games this year. I think the Panthers are going to be a factor. I like how they ended last year, and I like the coach. I like the quarterback. I like the additions. And I think that the NFC South, as much as we like Tampa, and everyone's like, God, there's a factor right now with the Falcons where everyone's freaking out about the Falcons. They have very good vibes coming out of Falcons camp. Very good. The fantasy community loves them.
Always.
It's all Bijan this. It's like, do I go back and draft Pitts again? Penix looks the part. There's a lot of love for the Falcons, but never mind that. I like the Panthers, not based on vibes from training camp, based on the last time we saw them play real games, which was at the end of last season, and they looked just the part of that team that makes the proverbial jump. Would it shock the world if the Panthers were 8-9? Does that qualify? I'm not going to split hairs on it. I'm going to say the Panthers are going to be a winning team this year, and that's my answer.
All right,
I like
cool.
that answer.
One of those games that you referenced was Panthers-Eagles, and Bryce Young hung around last season.
Yeah, I mean, he should have beat them. They had
They
the
were up
touchdown
at
pass
fourth
at the goal line. It was right there. It was like they were going to slay the dragon. No one could beat the Eagles.
Yep.
They were by far the best team in the league.
Yeah, and they hung with the Chiefs as well.
Yes.
Back on the field at Eagles-Browns
this
joint
is great.
practice after undergoing a knee procedure. But he came bearing gifts for both teams. That is a cooler of beer.
The boys are back in town.
That is a soft koozie, if you will, filled with beer. I bet they were chilled to perfection. It's fantastic. Well done, Landon. Find the cap, grab the cap of the team whose practice that you would like to attend and bring said cooler of beer. I guess cooler of what have you, Kyle.
Can I wear 32 hats at one time? Because that's just what I want to do right now. Just put them all on,
Should we try?
stack them up. Manti, you go. Come on.
You want me to go?
brother? Yeah, I want you
All
to
right,
go.
brother. I got
We're
you.
attending this training camp with a cooler of beer.
With a cooler.
A cooler. Manti doesn't drink beer, so
Good for you, man.
So I'll say this, guys. All right,
look like
when I think of watching football, okay, last week I talked about the smell of football. I'm going to talk to you about the sounds of football. If I'm going to pull up a cooler and I'm going to sit at a practice, at a training camp, I want to sit at a training camp where I'm going to hear the sounds. I'm going to hear the football helmets colliding with each other, the pads popping up and down. I want to hear cleats hit the ground. I want to hear coaches. I want to hear audibles, cadences. I want to hear all of it. And I think I'm going to hear it based on how Ben Johnson has been running his training camp, going live in 7-on-7. Like as a defender, I just want to close my eyes and sit there and just enjoy the sounds of contact. And I think, matter of fact, I know that I'm going to find that at 1920 Football Drive in Illinois. Like, I'm going to find that on one of those three fields, whether it's the Walter Payton Indoor Field or that field that's all the way by the train tracks. I'm going to hear it. I'm going to enjoy it. And so I would love to see the Bears.
Nice.
I think that works for you, too. I think Ben Johnson strikes me as a guy who doesn't drink a lot of beers. He's lean. He's fit. I think he's like one of those like up in the dawn working out guy. You would gel with him, I think.
Yes, I would.
But that's just my suspicion.
Speaks my language.
Yeah, for sure. You want to go, Jam?
Sure, I'll go. I don't put the hats on, so I don't have to leave it at the biggest possible size that Kyle
We don't want
left
to mess
it
up that braid either, right? Come
I know,
on.
right?
Put it
Thank you.
on, Jay.
No, I don't put it on. No, the hair and makeup team would get so mad at me. I'm going to go circle back to the Cleveland Browns, but specifically because when you attend any sort of event with a large amount of beer or whatever, oftentimes what happens to people after several beverages is truth talks, like what is it? The sober man's thoughts become a drunk man's words.
In vino veritas?
Something
That's
like
Latin.
that. I would just want to sit down with someone with the Cleveland Browns and figure out what the hell has been going on for the last 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
What was the plan?
Jamie, you're saying you want to get somebody drunk and hear what the real truth is about.
Yes.
That's smart.
I want truth serum
I like
with
it.
my cooler of beer, and I'll take it from a local brewer in Cleveland. I'll try to ingratiate myself with the community. I don't care. I just want to know what happened, honestly, from the date when Myles Garrett released the letter that said, I want out, until the week that he re-signed with a massive contract to the point where they drafted 2 quarterbacks in rounds 3 and 5. I want to know everything, and we're going to just drink it out. We're just going to drink it to the truth.
So you want to sit with Myles Garrett and be like, is this why you came back?
Anyone who wants to come and tell the truth can have the beer, okay? I'll bring as much
Myles
beer
Garrett
as
probably
possible.
has one of those, you hear about Andre the Giant, he would drink 64 beers in one sitting, and he should be like, I need more. I feel like Myles Garrett wouldn't even blink. I don't know if he drank. I have no idea. I know my answer, though. Jamie's answer was really good.
Thank you.
I'm going to Giants camp for several reasons. First of which, you know who I want to have a beer with? The head coach. I love the vibes from Dable. He is the kind of guy you crack a cold one with and just talk. I've told this many times. I went to Citi Field in the offseason. I went to go see Post Malone with Jelly Roll. Walk through the turnstile in Citi Field where the Mets play. The first person I ran into is the head coach of the Giants. Totally randomly. He's there with his family. Credible vibe. Wonderful family. He was there to he put in a hard day's work that day with the Giants. He was there to have a good time. Dable was awesome. So cool. I'm I kind of want to be can we hang out after the concert?
Totally.
You had that vibe. Some of these coaches you meet, and they're very buttoned up, and they're polite, but you don't really want to hang with them. And that's fine. I don't want to hang with them. They don't want to hang with me. I want to hang with Dable.
Yeah.
And if we're sitting there and we got a little keg or something, and look, if Scadaboo wants to come over, Scadaboo's built like a keg. He's the football keg himself. I would really like that kind of party. And Jamie, tell the people at home, what's the other reason that I want to go to Giants camp instead of any other camp?
It's close to your house.
Because it's close
then
to my
he can
house.
Just drive home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'll have like 8 beers, and it'll be like maybe like $100 Uber X back to my house.
Yeah.
And I just want to be, as always, I just want to be close to home.
Now
so,
listen,
Giants camp close.
College ball, and one of my favorite phrases in football, down the bayou, as a member of the LSU Tigers. Now he roams the defensive backfield in Cleveland, Ohio. Please welcome in the show, Brown safety Grant Delpit.
What up,
What's going on, Grant?
Let's go, baby.
What's up? Good. How y'all doing?
We're awesome. Good to see you. You're waiting patiently for your preseason game against the Eagles. You guys have been holding a joint practice, Browns-Eagles, all week long. You play tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Here's my number one question, since you were listening to our last segment. Were you hanging out with the Landon Dickerson crew yesterday practice? I felt like Browns and Eagles descended upon the cooler that Landon Dickerson brought to the field. What was happening with that yesterday?
Yeah, no, they was having a kumbaya. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. You know, I thought that was Stone Cold Steve Austin over there. But,
Yes.
You know, so I don't know. I saw them guys. They chopped it up and, you know, broke bread. So, you know, all good vibes, I guess.
Delpit 316. Like, we totally understand, dude. That's like, what would your kind of hang be? Like, what kind of teammates would you like? And what would be your equivalent if you were to host one of those on that practice field?
On that practice field?
Yeah.
Listen, I can't. I don't know. That was something that caught me off guard. You know, I don't think I ever seen that before. But that's some O-line stuff. I think the O-line, they're very unique of the way how they act and how they go about their day.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's their work.
That's true.
Well, here's something that's not going to catch you off guard. I'm going to ask you about Shedeur Sanders. Here's the deal, Grant. You've been in the league now. It's your 6th year, okay? You've seen it all. You've played with a lot of quarterbacks. You've gone against a lot of quarterbacks. Just give us your observations of this young kid who comes in with a lot of attention, a lot of fame, all that. Like, what have you seen from him that you find interesting and that maybe we wouldn't know?
He's a funny character, man. You know, of course, we got the spotlight all on him. And, you know, I just say, you know, let the young kid ball, you know, just let him be a rookie, let him make his mistakes and do what he has to do. You know, it's a lot of pressure on him, spotlight on him, stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's football, man. You know, I try to tell him when I see him, give him, you know, pointers here and there. It's easy, man. This is football. Go out there and do what you've been doing your whole life. So, you know, he takes coaching and he's a good player. So, you know, I know he's hurt right now, so I don't think I don't know if we'll see him on Saturday, but you know, we got a lot of quarterbacks, man, and I'm here to win. So it's whoever's trying to win, I'm with them.
Well, Grant, you said that, you know, O-linemen doing things, you know, post-practice, that's something that we haven't seen. But one thing that we have seen post-practice with a lot of teams is when quarterbacks talk. Now, you guys playing the Eagles, Jalen Hurts and Shedeur had a moment where they came together and had a conversation. We don't know the details of that conversation, but tell us a little bit of what Shedeur is like off the field. We know what he's like or have an idea of what he's like on the field. What is he like off the field?
You know, I don't know, man. It's a new age, you know, the streaming taking over. You know, kids got the spotlight, man. And young dudes, they taking off with it. So, you know, they know how to deal with it. And, you know, I think he's as good off the field as he is on the field. You know, I don't see any issues with how he goes about. You know, he shows up to work every day and does what he has to do. So, you know, I think he was, you know, raised the right way and really, you know, trying to do his family good, man, and really make a name for himself in the league.
Grant, you are an anchor of what could become a really powerful defense in Cleveland, and a lot of it has to do with the way you roam in the defensive backfield and what you have up front in Myles Garrett. Now, you're going up against a team that just won a Super Bowl and a really powerful offense. Do you feel like you guys made a statement? Did something happen for your defense this week in Philadelphia that maybe got your chest out a little bit more, gave you something going into the regular season that tells you a little bit about your defense that you have?
I don't know, man. Y'all tell me. Like,
No, you got you're inside the huddle. What did it feel like out there on defense?
I mean, I feel like we got confidence, man. I think we took care of business and did what we needed to do. I don't know if any, you know, film is out there or whatever, but I think that we're at a good place right now. You know, coming off a good week in Carolina, doing what we need to do here in Philly with the joint practice and really finishing up with a, you know, good performance in this game. We're really trying to, you know, boost our team to really go where we need to go this year because, winning 3 games is not good enough, as we all know.
I hear that, man. And you guys got to come out of the gates fast. It's life in the AFC North. You guys start the season going against Joe Burrow and Lamar. Now, these are guys that you've seen before, 2 very different types of players. As a defensive guy who's seen it all, what are the challenges between those 2 guys separately? Because you got to take them both out.
Oh, they're completely different.
Yeah.
I think our division is really made up of, completely different quarterbacks, to be honest. And we gotta prepare for, Baltimore twice a year, Pittsburgh and Cincy. So I think Joe is more of an accurate, I would say pocket passer. He surprised a few people with his legs.
Yep.
We know how Joe does, but, it's certain game plans for him and certain game plans for Lamar, but certain players that you can't even expect is going to happen that he's going to make it. You just got to go along with it. And, of course, new offense or whatever, new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. So I think we got the toughest division in football, man. So it's fun. It's fun to play in for sure.
Well, somebody else that's in your division, Jamar Chase, put a stamp on somebody that you talked about as well, and that's Denzel Ward. Tell us a little bit, Grant, about Denzel Ward and what he means to your defense and the leadership that he provides.
Man, 1-on-1. I think Ward is 1-on-1, man. The way he plays, his twitchiness, his mechanics, technique. It's not a lot of people that could do what Denzel does, So, I'm glad to have him on my side. I think we got great chemistry working together, So, I don't know, man. It's good things going on in Cleveland right now, if you ain't noticed.
Grant, I covered your 2019 run with LSU when I was with CBS. It was one of the most amazing teams I've ever been around. And you guys, as a team and as chemistry and fun on the field and production, everything was high. What do you remember about the characteristics of that team that you try to carry over to maybe your defensive unit or the Browns as a whole? Because you know what it felt like in that moment that you want to try to replicate professionally.
Yeah, I think it just starts with being close in the locker room. I think, if anything, with that LSU team 2019, we were just having fun. We were having celebrations after every game. We had to get the GAT stuff going on. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
So it was just about really having fun and really, I think that once your locker room is tight like that and guys start to, gel together and really have fun off the field, on the field, I think it really just translates to wins, honestly.
It's good memories with those guys, but now you got to try to pick him off in the division, like you said. Hardest in the NFL. Shake your head at looking at Joe Burrow who's hoisting that trophy. Grant Delpit, thanks for coming on. Stay healthy, man, and catch the Browns tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern
look at that
NFL
picture,
man.
Got him.
My bad, Joe.
My bad, Joe. No.
This was a Dude Episode 5. This is a series that we're doing because you remember the superstars from the 80s, 90s, but you might not know some of the shooting stars who passed underneath the radar for some reason, and time does not remember as much as they should. Guys like Barry Foster, guys like Rob Moore over here with the Cardinals, and today we're doing this dude. Bring up the picture of my guy. This was a dude, Bryce Pop, seen here with the Packers. Can you just tell me how incredibly cool? This guy's got the pumps on. He's got the pump, not cleats, turf shoes. Back in the day, you go, tss, 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 and he would give you more support, and then you're like, I don't need that much support. Tss, release button. I could do a whole segment on just the pumps, but it's not about the pumps. It's about Bryce Pop, one of the most underappreciated pass rushers of the 90s. Classic story. Guy grew up on a farm in Scranton, Iowa, got extra strong as a kid, lifting up 50-pound bags of beans, which with that, take that strength and take it to the NFL and absolutely dominated. You played football, University of Northern Iowa, drafted by the Packers in the 6th round, and he was thrust into the national spotlight in 1991 in his very first game. It was Eagles-Packers. Now you're going to see him on the bottom of the screen, number 95. He's going to beat the tackle and sack Randall Cunningham. We're not showing it, but he also tore Randall Cunningham's ACL on a hit that was, let's say, it was on the line. It was a little bit dicey. The Eagles were a Super Bowl favorite going into this season. Many Eagles fans to this day do not like Bryce Pop because of what happened to Randall. But then 1991, he also starts cooking. That's Vinny Testaverde, and Bryce Pop was a guy. It's why we do this segment. And we all love those uniforms, but they don't look so great when Bryce Pop's hanging all over them, do they? Just ask Vinny. He almost got the uniform ripped off him. So Pop comes out, and he has all these sacks in one game, including a safety. which turned to be the winning points because the Packers won at Lambeau by 2. This is back in the old NFC Central division when Tampa and Green Bay played in the same division. So he announces himself. He was a dude. And the Packers are like, we got a guy. Let's fast forward to 1993. Pop now is coming into his 3rd season. Look out, Troy. Pop had 11 sacks this season, including 3 in a game against Kansas. That's Jim Harbaugh right there in the Bears. Pop runs him down. Packers-Bears rivalry, early Favre era. 3 sacks in 1 game against the Chiefs. Green Bay versus Kansas City is November 8th, 1993. He was an unblockable guy. He was starting to really develop. And by the way, that's Jim McMahon on the Vikings wearing a visor at quarterback. You just don't see it very much on the AstroTurf. But like I said, 11 sacks in 1993 against the Chiefs. He's really announcing himself as a guy. He's one of the best pass rushers you have. For a long time, he was on the opposite side of Reggie White, and it was like, well, the Packers win a Super Bowl with this guy. But guess what happened? They let him go. They let him go in free agency, and where does he go? Hell yes, Western New York. Bryce Pop shows up in Buffalo and leads the NFL with 17 and a half sacks. 17.5, and Western New York loved him. Sorry, Dan Marino. He is the defense. Pop goes Marino, said that sign. Perfect. Boomer Esiason, get down. He can't. He's the defensive player of the year. Again, Jim Harbaugh on a different team. Blue Pants Colts. You love to see it. Like I said, 17.5 defensive player of the year. First team All-Pro. Let me show you where this ranks contextually. Bring up the full screen for these guys. AP Defensive Player of the Year's winner, 92-96. Bruce Smith, Hall of Fame. Deion Sanders, Hall of Fame. Rod Woodson, Cortez Kennedy, all Hall of Famers, and that's why we do this segment. Bryce Pop just sitting there wearing 95 for the Bills and really, really just wrecking shop. So he's great for the Bills. He eventually would move on in 98 and 99. He goes to the Jaguars. Sorry, Charlie Batch. He played good football for the Jaguars. It wasn't his Defensive Player of the Year level, but look, he's tackling Jerome Bettis in the backfield. This was a guy, Corey Dillon. All of these warriors of the 90s would run into Bryce Pop, and he would make the play. Neil O'Donnell, I'm sorry. This is so fun to watch. I just want to watch the highlights. Incredible to watch. Bryce Pop, really, really great player. So then football dries up. He eventually leaves, coaches high school football for a few years before breaking into college football. And as he is at the University of Northern Iowa, his alma mater, he had what I thought is a really interesting coaching philosophy that he shared, that he doesn't go around talking to all the players he's coaching about. I don't know if you know, but I used to be in the pros, and here's why.
No one wants to hear about how good you were. So I try to relate it to other people that I know from the NFL or guys that I know today. Because no one wants to hear what you used to be. But if they ask me a question, I'll talk about my experiences. But other than that, I try not to use it. Just let them, they know my history and they don't need to have it keep thrown in their face.
No one wants to hear about what you used to be. Except me. I love what you used to be, Bryce Pop. I love that you were dominant. I love that you're sitting there in Hawaii wearing a Bills hat and a Pro Bowl uniform. Bryce Pop was hired as the defensive line coach at Iowa State. He's in the game. He was dominating the game for a time. I know Buffalo remembers and Jacksonville and Green Bay, but everybody should remember that back in the day, Bryce Pop, this was a dude. We love you, Bryce Pop. We remember you, and we wish good things for you, buddy. You were dominant. That is it for that, though. Good Morning Football continues right after this as we zoom in on the formidable, handsome face of Bryce freaking Pop. This was a dude. Love this guy. College ball at Syracuse. Most of his 11 NFL seasons as a member of the New York Giants. Longtime friend of the show. We love him. We got him. Justin Pugh. What's up, Pugh? How we doing?
It's great to be here, guys. I'm sad I couldn't be in LA, but I'm here in New York holding down the fort for us.
What's up,
Next
bro?
time.
I know the feeling. And we love that you're doing it. Listen, we got to get to some closure here. You have officially now retired. You've hung him up as a member of the New York Giants. You've retired. How do you feel? What's going through that head of yours?
Feel good. Last year was that awkward year where I was talking to teams. I was out doing some media. At the end of the day, it was like, if I'm not going back to the New York Giants, I'm not going to be a part of that organization. It was time to hang them up. The body lets you know. And it was time after 11 years in the NFL and a couple great memories and a lot of great people that I crossed paths with to ride off into that next career, which I'm more excited about than ever.
Justin, can you clear that up real quick? Because I actually find it fascinating. There is like a technicality to retiring. Is it like you have to fax paperwork or something? Like, how does one actually make sure that thing is signed, sealed, and delivered with the NFL so it becomes, as you say, official?
Honestly, I haven't signed a thing. It was like the player trust reached out with me. I think that may be a little fake one-dayer. I don't want to give away too much of the allure to fans. Like they just give you a piece of paper there. It's more of just a formality. I think for me, what the most important part of this whole retirement process was, my daughter was there, my wife was there, my family was there, really saying a thank you to them. It's been 25 years of, practices, driving me places, sacrificing, missing weddings, missing important events to be able to be there with my family and my daughter, who, is a year and a half old now, to see me do that. It was a very, very special moment. And the New York Giants did an amazing job for me. Can't forget the Arizona Cardinals, where I also played. I'm just very appreciative of both organizations.
That's really cool. We're happy for you, too. But let's talk about the current state of the Giants. I'm sure you still hold them near and dear to your heart. They're currently holding a joint practice with the Jets ahead of the Snoopy Bowl. The two teams are going to play tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Giants quarterback situation. Russell Wilson is the starter. However, the organization turned heads when they jumped up and got Jackson Dart in late April in Green Bay. Does he steal this job away from Russell Wilson prior to week 1?
No, I don't think so. And this is no pun intended. I've always felt this way. It's all about darts on the dartboard. You want to get as many quarterbacks in that room competing at a high level. No one out there in the world has just nailed, like, this is how you transition from one quarterback to the next, aside from maybe the Green Bay Packers. But we don't know what's going on up there. I think you need the most competition. Russ is a starter. Jameis has been a starter, was a number 1 overall pick. Jackson Dart's a first rounder. All of those guys at some point might have to play. The better competition you can have, finding a guy that can play in New York is even more of a quandary than anything else out there, because it is a tougher place to play, the amount of pressure that's on those guys. Russ is your day 1 starter.
Well, somebody who we know is going to be a day 1 starter as a rookie is going to be Abdul Carter, the classmate. Just as my classmate, we were drafted the same year. Yes. The Giants said they're going to take me, and then I'm excited to sit there to the draft, and then they draft this guy named Justin Pugh.
Pew, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Don't clench your fist under the desk.
Yeah, whatever, classmate. Anyway, back to my question. So defensively, one of the highlights of that team last year was that rush. You had Thibodeau, you had Burns, you had all of those guys. Now you add somebody like Abdul Carter. I would love to have that as my defensive front, but from an offensive perspective, offensive lineman perspective, what type of threat does that pose to you?
Oh, it's the best thing ever. When you get into the fourth quarter, you want closers. And I said this and I tweeted this out. You want Tuesdayers. And a Tuesdayer is a guy that you turn on the film on Tuesday when you start breaking down an opponent and you're like, I got to block him this week. The Giants have Brian Burns, who's a guy that makes you nervous. We're forgetting Dexter Lawrence, who I think has an opportunity to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I think last year, if you look at the stats, and the Giants had a better record. You're talking about Dexter Lawrence. He is the most dominant nose tackle in football. I went against him since he was a rookie, and I was on the team with him. He is an unblockable force. Then you add in Abdul Carter. Everything looks great right now when you're looking at training camp. He's done a lot of great things. Prove it to me when you're a rookie. He's going to get one-on-one all year long. He better win those matchups. He better dominate. I'm expecting an amazing year out of him. And then Kayvon Thibodeau. He's become this guy that everyone's kind of getting on. He was a very high pick. He's going to have a monster year. He's probably feeling the pressure as well. When you draft somebody, and I can give a perfect example, I was a starting right tackle. We draft Eric Flowers 9th overall. It makes you play better. I went on to have a successful 11-year career, and I'm looking for that same thing from Kayvon Thibodeau, to keep pushing, to be dominant. I actually want some bulletin board material for these guys. Like, prove it to me, D-line. I want to see you prove it on Sundays, because looking at the depth chart and reading the tea leaves, you look great right now. You're never great until you do it on, when the lights come on.
Pugh, you are dealing right now. You sound like a professional analyst who's out of football and is doing media. You sound incredible. Keep it going. For most of my life, my favorite football player of all time has been Walter Payton. Sweetness's run is over. It's now Cam Skattebo of the New York Giants, the rookie running back. Just rev me up, Pugh. Give me some stuff about Skattebo. Let's go. Come on.
Hey, watching him at Arizona State, now I told you I was in Arizona, so I got to be a part of that Arizona State run this last year. Go back to the tweets, guys.
Let's go.
I got a Cam Skattebo tweet out there. I don't know if we can dig that one up. It's going to take a little while. But I tweeted Cam Skattebo plus Tyrone Tracy would be a 1-2 battle that no one wants to see coming. I really think that he can be that thunder to the lightning. The Giants, when they had Ahmad Bradshaw, when they had Brandon Jacobs, they were a team you didn't want to face. I need my guy Evan Neal getting in there, getting rowdy on the offensive line. There's more depth on the O-line than ever. But you kind of hit that thunder and lightning with Cam Scatterbo and Tyrone Tracy. I'm excited for that front. You play really good defense. The New York Giants are a team you don't want to play late in the year.
Justin, before I get this next question out, I just want to make sure the parallel is understood, that the way that Kyle feels about Cam Scatterbo is how I feel about Taylor Swift. And I just want to say her name early, so in case anybody does want to change the channel out of rage, you're allowed to do that. Even though I don't know why people are doing that anymore. If you didn't listen to one of the biggest podcasts, live streamed and now subsequently posted of all time, we have a clip.
Okay.
Educate yourself real quick.
All right.
I didn't know what a first down was. I didn't know what the chains were. I didn't know what a tight end was.
I am forever thankful for you diving into the football world wholeheartedly.
Oh my God. I fell in love with it. I became obsessed with it. I became like a person who was running through the halls of my house screaming, "We drafted Xavier Worthy." And my friends are like, who body snatched you? What do you mean?
There's also a cover 2, cover 0. There's a lot of references. She knows what's up. She also made a prediction that she was going to be an analyst in 16 months, which everybody should fear for their jobs. Justin, scrolling your Instagram, you had a fascinating take about this. Would you care to share with the crowd?
Yeah, I think when is the last time the largest pop star on planet Earth decided to break news on an athlete's podcast? I think the way the world of media is changing, you guys see it every single day. Athletes have picked up the microphone and started sharing their stories. And that's something that I'm very, very excited about. It's a reason that I've gotten into this business. And the reason I love it so much is I like to almost flip this on its head and make players become fans of fans. And that's what I started doing this year. So that was just a microcosm of where I see a lot of this going. Taylor Swift is the biggest name in the world, and she's breaking her album release on New Heights podcast. That's pretty impressive for the Kelsey brothers. I mean, that's an all-timer right there.
No, definitely. It felt like a real media moment for sure, and it was entertaining as well. But if you want media and entertaining, Pugh, you got to make lists. Just make lists, and people will lose their mind. You travel around Thursday Night Football doing the tailgates, the restaurants, the food. You're way into it, and you have a list. So get ready, everybody. Fire in the hole. Justin Pugh's top 5 NFL cities for food. Pugh, break this down about how you landed here and what was the most controversial reaction?
I would say Baltimore. Being in there was everyone got on me for it. Went to Jimmy Seafood. We'll get there. I want everyone to realize this is cities with food. I'm not just talking stadium in food.
Cities.
I'm talking cities in food.
Sure.
I'm a little surprised. Justin.
I'm a bit biased. Now, number 2 is probably going to give me a lot of slack for my New Yorkers, but I would say New York is the best food in the world. If you like Italian food, Indian food, Mexican food, even if you go to those places, you come to New York, you're going to have better food. That's just my opinion. Everyone's going to go crazy. Philadelphia, I would say, is my favorite restaurant in planet Earth. It's called Angelo's, the best cheesesteak and the best pizza. Angelo's, you go there Thursday night, the opening night, go get you some Angelo's. Line will be around the city block. Baltimore, seafood, crab cakes. It's what we do. Jimmy Seafood, shout out to them. I know what heaven smells like, and it's Kansas City tailgates with the barbecue. Joe's Barbecue, the Z-Man. Kansas City, I absolutely love it. It's a barbecue place. I didn't get too crazy, but you love a good barbecue. And then in Miami, I got toured around by this guy, Mr. 305 Eats, and got some Cuban food. We got some pastries, and actually in stadium, Miami had some really good food. So that is kind of how I rounded out those rankings. Now, don't get mad at me, everyone. I haven't been to Buffalo yet. I haven't been to a couple other cities. I was out in L.A. L.A. fans, San Francisco fans are going to get on me a little bit. But I still had some more reconnaissance to do this year.
The nuclear take is that you just dropped is that you can get better Indian food in New York than in India. Which is, you go to New Delhi, their chicken tikka masala, not as good as on 34th Street. I love that take. I don't know if India will love it, but good morning, you guys. Pugh, you're the best. You have opinions. You have information. Apparently, you have some kind of yellow kitchen or something. It's just all coming up wins for you, dude. Thank you so much. Let's get you on the show as a host where you belong soon.
You guys are the best. I really appreciate it. I will see you soon.
Congrats on retirement. You've earned it, man.